So I'm gonna begin by first setting my phone down so that I can not have you shaking around with me. um, so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna find a way to place this so that even my face can still be seen here. And I'd like to invite us into a moment of noticing what the season of the place is that you're in right now and how it feels in your body. Even if you're inside, so I'm like slightly in this sort of indoor outdoor experience right now, mostly with some air and sunshine landing on me. But I want to invite us into this way of being with our body, this way of attuning with our body's experience by noticing maybe the climate or the conditions, the characteristics of the space that you're in. And maybe they are connected to the actual season of the place. If you're in the northern hemisphere, this is the season of fall, autumn. Noticing what it feels like in your body right now to maybe sense what autumn is like for you if you are in the northern half of the globe. Or something in your specific environment, your specific context that you can feel in your body that is a temperature or a sound or the feeling of the air or the wind around you. Like I'm just feeling this, ooh, like slight little breeze rolling up my hand and my wrist that's coming in from the sliding glass door in front of me. And it feels mm, like a cool, I don't know, like the lightest sensation. It's like it's barely there. It's so soft and almost not noticeable. It's just a very subtle, kind of cool rolling texture, kind of waving over my hand and my wrist. And now I can feel it in this side too. And then the heat, I'm feeling the heat down here on my lower body. And I can just sense that there's a warmth, like my actual body feels the sun's energy, the heat. It has a warmth to it. And when I say warmth, we all know what warmth feels like. Like we kind of have an understanding like, oh, what does warmth feel like to the skin? What does it feel like to the body? It feels like um kind of like I can tell that there's an interfacing. Like I can feel that the heat that I'm feeling on my skin, I can feel that it's not coming from inside my body. It's coming from something outside of my body, landing on my body. I'm very aware of that, that the heat that I'm feeling is not coming from my own internal generated warmth. Versus up here, where the sun is not on my body, it just has a more of a neutral feeling. Like it's just my body without that interfacing with the heat of the sun. It's a very distinct feeling down here to up here. So inviting yourself in to be noticing these pieces of sensory information that tell your body how to sort of read itself. It's like you're bringing your awareness to these sensations, and that's you through your presence, through your awareness, reading, intuiting. So not to intuiting, it's being with your body's experience. This practice of noticing our body's felt sense experience. Felt sense, F-E-L-T, sense, felt sense. What is the felt sense of your body at any moment? Getting into a practice of this is the most fundamental, sort of foundational way of attuning to your body's experience, of attuning to your nervous system. I facilitated a space last night with 5 women, including me. There were 5 of us, and the class was called, I like to call it a ritual space. It's very ritually experienced. It's a very ritualized container, and it was about alchemizing the nervous system. And in my interfacing with different modalities in my community and in my personal therapeutic process with my therapist, there is this spectrum of being with a somatic process. And I'm finding that there's somatic processes that are still very up here. They're still very in the thinking mind, the cortical thinking brain, the neocortex. And we can weave these two things together, being in the neocortex, being in the cortical thinking dominant mode network, which we could also say is the ego experience of ourselves. And we can dance between that and dropping in to this more limbic, primal resonance with our body's experience, which is getting out of the mind, the thinking mind, and getting in to the sensation of the body. Dropping into the sensation itself, noticing perhaps if there's a thought that comes up or an emotion, and being present with it so much so that there's compassion and love for however these experiences are showing up. There's no wrong way to be with your body. There is only the way that's happening. And whatever the way is that's happening is the right way. So practicing this is, it's important to be gentle with, because it's not our typical conversation we have with others, nor with ourselves, about noticing our body's experience. So noticing, okay, I'm having a thought right now. I feel uncomfortable on my left hip. Okay, I'm going to say something that's actually real for me so that I can demonstrate what it is I'm trying to say, which is, all right, so I could be thinking, ooh, I was leaving an audio message for a girlfriend, and I looked up and realized it was 7 minutes after noon, and I like to start this show at noon. So I was late. I was late. I was late according to this self-prescribed um, space that I want to have consistency with. So I could be going into like a story. Okay, I'm making meaning of the fact that I was not on time. And there's no judgment in that. It's just an awareness that I'm having a thought about that. And I could be thinking that. Now, this is the invitation. Can you notice in your body where that thought has a sensation in your body? So, what is the feeling experience? What is the actual sensation experience in your body that is underneath that thought? Where does that live in your body? And then describe it. Maybe for me, it's right here. It's like a little zone right here. It's kind of like right of center. Here's the center line of my body. It's a little bit right of center. It's small. It's like maybe a $half, and it's like a little bit hot, and it's like it's in the actual derma. Like I can feel it in my skin, and then it goes down and in, and it feels like it's like all the way to the bone that's underneath the skin layer right here. Like I can feel it touching, like, is that a rib? I mean, yeah, that's a rib. So it's touching that rib. It's like living on top of the rib and all the way out to the surface of my skin. And it's a little bit, so now it moved into the center. Now it's like right here. And now it feels more centered. It still feels a little to the right. But now it's more like this, whereas before it was more like a circle. I don't know if you can see that. Now it's more like a line. It's like a little line right here. Feel like I need to raise this up so you can see me a little bit better. See if I can do this in a way that's helpful and not distracting. I need to get a better video situation. Sorry. Okay, I'm gonna try this. Maybe that's a little bit better. All right, so feeling that sensory piece, and then you can do this. You can go underneath that. Ooh, like I just felt my whole body like had a full like it kind of shot up from my belly all the way up and like actually made this feeling become kind of slightly painful. It was like a little bit of a shocking like pain that zipped through right here. As soon as I felt it again right down here, like right above and behind my skin, above my belly button. I feel like I'm gonna cry. Like when I just said, so this feeling was underneath the thought, which was I didn't show up on time. And I went in and I noticed, okay, there's this feeling here. And then I just said, so what's underneath that? What's underneath the sensation here? And my body spoke, and immediately I felt this emotion roll through. And I could try and understand what that motion is connected to, and that's okay. There might be a piece of information there. Most importantly, in this practice of being with the felt sense experience of our body, which is the definition of attunement. This experience of attunement, which is simply noticing the body's experience. This is how all healing and all transformation happens. This is how true transformation happens, is through being with the felt sense experience of the body. Liberating, feeling into the stuck pieces of trauma, of pain, of overwhelm, of stress that have been living inside the body and haven't been able to be presenced and welcomed and permitted to come forth and acknowledged. And of course, there's so much more. Like I'm just like, what? Like if the surface is 3 million miles high, like we're just in the top, few miles of this experience. Like there's so much complexity here. And in a way, it's also a very simple process. So I'm just giving the very rudimentary explanation of it, which is how to connect with the felt sense experience of the body, and then how to notice if you can feel in that piece. Perhaps there's like a movement or a sound that wants to happen that expresses that piece, and then to go underneath that piece. And what's the somatic piece underneath that piece? Or perhaps what's the emotion or thought or sensory piece underneath that piece? And to continue to peel the layers. And when we do this, we are inviting ourselves to not be here. We are really trying to be in the presence of our body's experience. And we can do different things to help us be in the non-thinking mode and to get more into the primal mode and into the limbic mode, which is the opening up to these subconscious pieces that are always informing our experience and actually influencing our experience, whether we know it or not, whether we're consciously aware of it or not. So we're trying to get out of the egoic thinking mind and into the places that are programming those experiences, are programming the thinking mind's perception, are programming the thinking mind's meaning making of an experience. I know that's a lot. So that was really interesting, like that welling up for me. If I would have stayed with it and not gone into speaking, because the speaking brings us into the linguistic mode of the left brain, which is very frontal lobe. It's still very thinking mind. It's still very modern human mind and not these deeper limbic primal brain spaces. So if I were to go back and feel that feeling, oh my God, like I immediately feel it. And it's like, ooh, it's like I feel it on the front and on the back of my body. It's like from my spine all the way to the front of my right below the bottom of my rib right here. And it's like a rod, but like it's like my belly has this sort of like moving, tingling ball. And as I say that, it moves up and I can feel it in my chest and in my throat. And it's like something in me is like actually like wanting to like be extracted from my body, but my body is like scared to let it out. That's what it feels like. It's like this sort of tug of war of like this thing wants to leave, but my body won't let it leave, but it wants to leave. But it's like that's what it feels like it's trying to do, and it gets stuck right here. So if I were to bring myself into an expression to give this piece a way to integrate, I would I would make space for that right now. So, ooh, the sunshine's getting hot. So, I'm gonna allow myself to just feel that in the presence of this show, even though there's a part of me that feels very vulnerable right now, and these spaces are so interesting because they if I really am in a raw space with my own process, in the witnessing of people, it's it's like I feel very humbled and I feel very, I want to stay authentic with my experience. Like, that's a big part of it because I don't want to be doing something that's, like, inauthentic, honestly, and it's an interesting container to walk this space of, I am not by myself. I am being listened to, watched here in actual time and space, and perhaps for anyone who's watching the recording, there's that too. So it's an interesting dance of me staying in the truth of my experience so that I can demonstrate what is truly authentic to my own expression of a somatic process that expresses my felt sense. So I just want to say that I know I've said that probably multiple times, but I know there's different listeners on the show, and I want to keep staying really present with my desire to be authentic with this space. Ooh. So Getting on the hands and knees like this is one of my favorite ways to let the body surrender to the experience. And I've done other ways too. Being on the back is another way, but I'm gonna be in this experience right now, and I'm gonna let my body just reconnect to that feeling, and then I'm gonna stop talking for a couple minutes and just be in the experience of myself so that I can be as authentic with it as possible. Okay. Yeah. Mm. And I'll just put my hands on my body in the places where I'm feeling stuff, so at least there's a way that I'm communicating with you, but I'm gonna stop speaking. Yeah. Uh, 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 oh, Mm. Uh. Uh. Oh. Ah. Ah. Mm. Ah. Ugh. Ugh. Ah. Uh. Mm. Okay. So, I'm bringing myself back into this, place of connection with the screen, with this audience. Ooh, I feel a little bit, like, lightheaded right now, actually. That was, a very fully expressed. I could keep going, like, I actually still feel this peace still in my upper belly, but it also felt like a beautiful moment to pause and to have felt that and feel that and acknowledge that and also find a way to be, yeah, in a place of continuing this conversation here. So, um, there were a few, um, images and, like, cognitive pieces that came through with that, but 95% of that experience was simply me feeling and expressing without thoughts. I'm not gonna say without emotion because I felt the energetic emotion, like the emotional energy, I felt that flowing through me, but there were very few thoughts or meanings that were wrapped around the experience. There was one initially that had something to do with, this is my womb. I've been pregnant twice, given birth once, and the experience of growing a human in the body is an experience that only a woman who grows a human in her body can really understand. It's like nothing else. I mean, it's just it's such a profound experience to have that creation energy in the body, and I have some sadness in that space, evidently. I've expressed a lot of sadness from that space. And there seems to be perhaps more, the piece of data, the piece of cognitive info that came through was something about, like, in my co-parenting situation, like, I wanna see my son more. Like, he and I are not together enough, and I know he wants me and misses me. Like, I know that, and so that's awkward. I think there's some pain in, still mourning about an abortion that I had, whew, 15 years ago, 14 years ago, that I don't think I fully actually understood the necessity of grieving that experience at that point in my life, and I think it still bubbles up here and there. Um, and then there was a third thing that came through, and of course, how could I forget? Oh, yeah, like, ooh, like, this is deep. Ooh, I always know that my sense of cognitive awareness of what my emotional experience and my body's experiences is, is spot on. Like, I'm hitting the nail on the head when I start to cry. It's like my body's saying, like, "Yes, that's it." And it's this sadness and grief that perhaps I will carry with me forever until I'm no longer in this body, I don't know, about wishing I had had another child and wishing that I lived. in a family situation where the father of my child, the father of my children, and I had this anchored relationship, and we're raising our kids together, and I don't have that experience. That's not the contract of my soul in this lifetime, and there's mourning that I'm still experiencing with that. Yeah. So, ooh, thank you. I'm going to wrap this up, and hopefully this was helpful to witness me. This was a longer duration of me being in process with myself, than I've done in a few weeks or months. I'm not sure. Hopefully, this kind of live expression of it is helpful. It's what I had always intended to do with these spaces, was to be in actual live practice with me so that I could be witnessed, and so that modeling might be somehow a supportive invitation for anyone watching this to drop in and notice your body's experience. The biggest part to being able to experience this seems like something that we wouldn't even need to say, but it's the choice to actually choose to do it. It's the choice to actually slow down and pause and take 10 minutes, because it's really, I mean, even 5 minutes, just to slow down, pause, and be with yourself, and be present and notice your body's experience. The saying yes to that, which means exiting the busyness of the evening of, like, cooking dinner and then the exhaustion of the day, and then just wanting to go, maybe sit and watch a show or read a book or whatever it is, all of these things that are rightfully happening. But to choose instead this moment of being with oneself, which is to slow down, to be still, to be fucking rebellious, because this is not the normalized invitation in Western society, and to feel powerful and courageous in standing for yourself in a way the society doesn't say is valid. And knowing, as you're hearing from me and can feel somehow connected to in the truth of yourself, that it is valid. In fact, it is perhaps the most valid thing that we can do to support ourselves. So I invite you to find 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes to soften into stillness, to notice your body's experience. And maybe there's nothing that happens other than just pausing. And that is enough. Mm, thank you. Appreciate you. Sending all my love.